Hey there, friends. Today I have a lot to share. While we decided to set aside full-time RV life, and honestly, I miss it in a lot of ways, it has given us the opportunity to once again say hello to home ownership of a sticks and bricks house that is not on wheels. There are so many reasons why we are excited about this house, but some of them are the ability to garden, the ability to spread out a little bit, and the ability for all of us to pursue our interests a little bit more. As our kids got older, our RV got a little bit smaller with each year, and we knew once they got to the ages that they are that it would be likely that we would need a home. Welcoming a home into our lives has been really fun, it has been really exciting, and very, very enjoyable. On this day, I wanted to make sure that I got a little tiny bit of gardening done even in these freezing cold temperatures. So I tended to some of these plants that I bought on very, very steep clearance at the end of last year and that were waiting to be potted up. I'm not really sure if they'll survive or not, but I know they'll do better in this half wine barrel than they will stuck in their black plastic containers. I also wanted to make sure that I got to pruning up this rose bush and make sure that that is ready to go for the springtime. One of the other great joys of owning this home is welcoming into our lives a rescue lab mix that we adopted. She is the sweetest, she is so fun, and her name is Charlie. Today, I wanted to get some things into the freezer. I've been trying really hard to utilize this new kitchen. It is so big to me, but I am enjoying it very much, I have to say. So I cooked up some potatoes, made sure that they were all scrubbed down, and then I whipped up some beans as well, all of course in my Instant Pot because that is just the most convenient thing for me. If you've never cooked beans in the Instant Pot before, it is so easy. I have found that my 3-quart Instant Pot can fit about 2.5 cups of beans, and then I fill it up to the max fill line. I don't add salt until they are all done cooking. Cook times vary, but I find that most beans do pretty well at 28 minutes. I just let them naturally release until the pin drops on its own, and they cook really well. It's very, very nice. I decided to turn these potatoes into a potato casserole. I pre-steamed the potatoes in the Instant Pot, and then I grabbed this bag of frozen broccoli florets. I did end up breaking a few of them up, but it worked out really well. The only thing is, if I would have had fresh broccoli, I would opt for that because now that I've cooked one of them up, I know that fresh broccoli would have done a little bit better cooking than the frozen broccoli. The frozen broccoli kind of got a little bit weird and watery, so I would opt to do fresh in the future. Here I'm making up this delightful, like seriously, it tasted so good. I don't really have any measurements because I sort of just threw everything in, although I've tried to show what I have put in here. But basically, I mixed together some homemade, home-cultured cashew yogurt, as well as a little bit of water. And then I seasoned it with all of these yummy things and basically just threw in what smelled good to me or what seemed to go together well. When this baked up, it made the whole house smell so yummy, very, very homey. It smells like Thanksgiving when you cook it up. It's like a cheesy potato casserole kind of a thing, basically. So once I whisked all of these ingredients together, I put all of those into a bowl. My 3-quart Instant Pot can cook up about 6 to 8 medium to large russet potatoes, not like the giant ones that you often find at potato bars, but that's about how many potatoes I put in there. And then I put in that bag of broccoli. I had about a cup of cashew yogurt and then just a little bit of water and those seasonings, and it made up 2 smaller casserole dishes. These are about 7 by 9, I think. One went into the fridge, one went into the freezer. Delicious, so good. And then there are my cooked beans. Hey there, and welcome to the How to Be a Minimalist YouTube channel. I am so excited to have you here in my new Sticks and Bricks kitchen. So my family purchased a home and we moved in December, and we are so excited about this. It is lovely. I'm really thrilled with having a bigger kitchen because my kitchen was 5 feet wide before. It was very, very small. My counter space was literally, I think, like 16 inches at the widest. Now, this home is in need of some things that need to be fixed up, and it's definitely not perfect by any means, but it has been such a wonderful home for our family. We're so grateful for it, and there is a yard with a garden, so I'm very excited about that. It's a very much wintry scene out there right now, so there isn't much gardening going on at the moment, but I'll take you along for all of that stuff as it transpires and as the yard begins to thaw in the spring, and I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. For today though, I'm going to do a few simple projects, and I wanted to take you along and mostly just wanted to have this chat with you about what's going on. It's awesome, we're settled in, and I'm excited to be here, and thanks for being here too. Let's go make a cup of tea. After I enjoyed my cup of tea, I wanted to make sure that I got some dinner into the Instant Pot so that this vegetable barley soup could sit in the Instant Pot all day, ready for us to eat when it was dinner time. So I chopped up a bunch of vegetables, I got out the seasonings, and I went to work. I also had some basil in the refrigerator that needed to be used up, so I chopped it up, tried to make it pretty fine, and it was such a delicious addition to this soup. I set this aside in a jar in the refrigerator once it was done, and I put it in right before I served it, just a few minutes before. I wanted to make up some mixes for you all, mixes for cornbread as well as my biscuit mix, but I didn't end up having time. And so as I had my day going, I kept putting it off, but luckily I had some toast that I was able to make up for this dinner. Also, the nutmeg is kind of the secret ingredient in this barley soup, as well as that cremini mushroom soup. It just adds a nice umami touch to it. I've made that one out of dried cremini mushrooms, but I think Trader Joe's has one, or you can omit it. But honestly, that nutmeg just does the trick on this one. And there is our dinner. Good morning. So as you can see from the footage last night, I just made up that toast and put some pear jam on it for me, homemade pear jam, which is so good. If this coming year you have an opportunity to make some pear jam, it is delicious. It's one of my very favorite jams and not often found in the grocery store. I don't think I've ever seen it there. It turned out to be a delicious meal, and I still want to show you how I make those mixes. I'm doing a pantry challenge, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more later, but this pantry challenge is really helping me to focus on my dry goods, and getting through them and making up some mixes will be very handy and convenient. First of all, it's like homemade convenience food, but also it will help me to use up a lot of our dry goods that we have in the house that really do need to be used up. So I'm going to take you along for making up some cornbread mixes as well as some of my basic biscuit mixes, and one of those I'm going to mix into a bowl, turn it into a little cobbler as an experiment. I have not tried it before, so we'll try it together. So let's go and make the cornbread and the biscuit mixes. Here is the deal with these mixes. If I'm going to pull out a bowl, it is so easy just to also pull out a few jars. The cornbread and biscuit mixes are so similar that it's really easy to do this at the same time. I did have to be careful. A couple of the ingredients are slightly different, but basically they came together really fast. They are going to make the difference between getting something like this into the oven or not. On nights when I don't have something like this prepped early, I won't put it together, but if I have to mix, I will. So that is pretty awesome about having these round. Pancakes also work great this way, and if you're plant-based and trying to avoid certain ingredients, it's an awesome way to go. In order to make this cobbler, I basically just used half a cup of maple syrup instead of a quarter of a cup, and I threw in a few medjool dates. These are already hydrated, so they're very soft and they blended up perfectly. You might need to soak your dates if you don't have hydrated dates on hand. I also made sure that I added in some vanilla extract, almond extract, and about 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. If you know almond extract, you know, be careful with it. It's a very powerful flavor. I only added in about 1/2 teaspoon. Last thing to note about this recipe, if you are making it into a cake, make sure you let it cool completely. It really does need that time to finish cooking as it sits and cools. It is totally done if you take that toothpick and it comes out clean, and if the edges are that nice deep golden brown, but I would not recommend cutting into it until it is cooled, or else it will be a little bit sticky. Turned out beautifully. I wish I'd had some more fruit to press into the top, but it was so good. So before I get my kitchen cleaned up again, I wanted to talk to you about this pantry challenge that I had mentioned before. I'm really excited about it. Basically, in the RV, it was really hard to keep things at an even temperature or even at a cooler temperature, which for dry goods in particular and canned goods, you want it to be dark, dry conditions for storage. And I know that it was dark, but I know that the temperature of some of those items, it wasn't consistent and probably, well, you know, warmer than is recommended. What that means is that when I saw the pantry challenges going around, which there are a ton of them going around right now, I decided that I wanted to do one for January and February and not buy any more dry goods. And I wanted to make sure that I cooked as much as I could from scratch, which I obviously already do that, but I wanted to make sure that I implemented some of the things that I don't normally implement into our diet. Most pantry challenges mean that you don't go to the store at all, or a lot of them I've seen that's what it means. I'm not going to do that because we are plant-based. I ate tons of fresh fruits and vegetables, and I also do not or did not have a garden this last year where I could preserve a ton of my own food, and so I don't have enough produce on hand for my family to eat nutritiously for January and February. So basically what it means is that we will just be eating through our dry goods as much as possible. In case I don't get to say goodbye to you later, I wanted to say goodbye right now. Thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen this morning and also yesterday. It is so nice to be filming in such a great an open space. But thanks for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out the videos linked down below in case you haven't watched those yet. And I will see you next time. Remember, it is all about the experiences, not the stuff. See ya.